Violent protests are continuing to spread around the world, fueled by anger about a film made in the United States that mocks Islam's Prophet Muhammad. There were protests in the Pakistani city of Karachi, and a protester in northwest Pakistan was shot dead, while hundreds of demonstrators in the same region set fire to the local press club and government buildings. There have been demonstrations elsewhere in Afghanistan and in Indonesia, and in Lebanon the leader of Hezbollah has called for fresh protests. Well, let's speak live now to former television presenter Kristiane Backer, who used to work for MTV, the music channel, and then converted to Islam in the mid-1990s. She's just written a new book called From MTV to Mecca. Kristiane Backer, your views are interesting on this because since your conversion, in a sense, you're part of the Muslim world and you're part of the West. Just explain to us why this obscure film, there's nothing big budget about this, it hasn't been seen by very many people until this moment, why it sparked so much anger?
Well, I mean, first of all, of course, the Prophet Muhammad is central to the life of a Muslim. Muslims emulate the Prophet Muhammad, and any attempt to denigrate or defame his personality offends and hurts Muslims worldwide. Now, we also have to remember, though, the scale of things. We are 1.8 billion Muslims in the world, and how many of them are actually protesting? The vast majority condemn violence, and violence is not acceptable in any shape or form. But, you know, so it's a fringe minority that is causing all this problem, and really we need to remind them of the teachings of Islam, which in fact Islam means peace, and the Prophet Muhammad never advocated such violence. In fact, if you kill one innocent person, it is as if you kill the whole of humanity. So our prayers are with the ones who have suffered and who have been killed, and it is absolutely unacceptable.
But people do seem to be able to be whipped up into a real frenzy relatively easily, which leads some people to wonder why in a sense people's faith is not more robust, or why people aren't thicker skinned about this kind of film.
Well, I mean, yeah, you see, I mean, the vast majority do react with non-violent means. Every Muslim opposes this film, no doubt about it. But a minority in all these different countries react very badly, very emotionally. You know, Muslims are emotional people. Still, I really urge, well, you know, the Quran teaches us to use our reason, and it also teaches us to not engage with ignorant people, you know, to say peace and to leave them to it, basically. And also, we must repel something evil with something better. So this bad speech of the film, we should really, you know, counteracted with good speech. And this is something that I've been trying to do with my book From MTV to Mecca. I've been trying, you know, in a positive way to show what the true values of Islam really stand for. You know, there is a great amount of ignorance. No one really knows what Prophet Muhammad stands for. Also, that was the reason why I participated in something called the Inspired by Muhammad campaign, which you can still see online, which shows, you know, what Islamic values are and what the teachings of the Prophet really are.
But let me ask you this. Imagine if you take the violence out of these protests, would you feel that, again, a low-budget amateur film like this is something that it's acceptable to bring people out onto the street about? Isn't it better just to ignore it? Is that actually what should be encouraged by Muslim leaders? I
absolutely agree. We should not pander to those people who have made this terrible film in order to stir up problems, in order to raise the red flag to the bull. You know, I mean, also I question the motives. I really question the motives of those filmmakers. You know, is it perhaps a political tool? Is it perhaps made to you know, swing the votes in America? Is it, you know, something by the neocons, Christian fundamentalists to stir up problems?
But couldn't you make exactly the same allegation against leaders in parts of the Muslim world? What about Hezbollah, who perhaps are also using opposition to this film for their own political ends?
Absolutely. I do think a lot of people jump on the opportunity that this film has now caused. And, you know, if you look at the very tragic killing of the ambassador, I mean, that's not a protest that has gone out of hand. That is actually a terrorist act. And it is completely unacceptable. And really, we must remind everybody about the teachings of our religions, which are peace and to repel something bad with something better, and to disengage, to use our reason, and to not, you know, pander to ignorance. And in fact, you know, so I do feel, you know, generally there's a lot of ignorance about Islam, and it's up to us Muslims to be positive, show what really our religion is all about, and for the rest of the world to try and find out, to look beyond these unfortunate headlines.
Kristiane Backer, thanks very much for joining us on Impact today.